FromSoftware is a mainstay in the gaming community. The games they have made in the last 15 years have garnered a huge fan base and a community that loves every ounce of it. But I'm not here to sing my praises for FromSoft. My goal is to take a look at every boss from the Souls series, Bloodborne, Sekiro, and Elden Ring, and give it a rating. Rating things like presentation, lore significance, music, and gameplay. Let's jump into it with our next boss on the list, the Tower Knight. The Tower Knight is the second major boss in the first Archstone of Demon Souls. Once you've beaten the Phalanx, Boletaria opens up to a long battlement that acts as a bridge towards the main castle. Once you evade the dragon's fire breath and deal with some blue-eyed knights, you'll eventually come face to face with this towering demon. The cutscene slams this guy front and center, and straight away you are given the impression that this knight doesn't mess around. You get a brief shot of archers preparing to fire upon you as well, which gives even more urgency and panic to the fight. The presentation of this boss is incredible and has to be one of the most memorable fights in Demon Souls. We talked about Phalanx previously, and compared to a blob with sticks to poke you, this guy looks like he's ready to stomp your face into your ancestor's grave. You may initially think, how in the hell would I even do damage to this guy? And while you are thinking that, you may as well run up the side steps and dispatch the archers one at a time. I kind of like this moment of giving you a smaller task to handle while you prepare yourself to face the true threat, building up the anticipation. I will say, however, having to repeat this process after dying a few times can come off as tedious, which can frustrate some players, but I like to look at it as a fight that has two phases. There are a few strategies that players can use to succeed, like standing on the ramparts and shooting his head with a bow and arrow. But the true weakness lies at the demon's ankles. He has an actual Achilles heel, and after doing enough damage to each foot, indicated by the cracks with the blue soul spilling out, the Tower Knight will come crashing down, giving you the opportunity to strike its head, doing massive damage. It is a true David and Goliath type of battle. Also, Tower Knight is very weak to magic as well, so you can utilize the ramparts as a way to pop shots of magic to hit him. I will also add that if you die to Tower Knight, you spawn all the way back to the Phalanx boss room. Unless you take some time to kill the dragon with a couple hundred arrows, it can be pretty tedious to get back, but it's definitely not the worst run back by any means. As far as lore goes for the Tower Knight, there isn't much to say about him. Based on some observations and some short item descriptions, he was a proud and loyal knight of King Allant, a powerful defender of Boletaria. It shows how far the demons have reached, how even the most valiant and skilled knights have fallen and become demons themselves. I wanted to discuss here that there is a moment in the later part of Boletaria where you fight a group of 3 strong warriors. Some speculating that these 3 are the demons Phalanx, Tower Knight, and the Penetrator bosses respectively. Due to when you defeat them, there is a small moment where you can glimpse the silhouette of these warriors. As for the music, listening back to the original music is almost like a developer joke, where the choir is just laughing at you. It's a bit silly, but with the instrumentation behind it, it does give a sense of energy and urgency. Let's compare with the remake's music. It's much more grandiose and definitely adds to the sense of scale that the Tower Knight imposes upon the player. The bass drum booming sounds like his footsteps thudding into the ground with force, and the strings come in with high, dizzying energy that builds panic. If you want my full comments on the entire piece of music, think about supporting me on Patreon. So now for the rating. Tower Knight is iconic. The design and presentation are incredible, and is most likely the first boss people picture when you talk about Demon Souls. He invokes awe and is incredibly intimidating. He was meant to push the boundaries of what players expected in terms of size and difficulty. There was more strategy needed than brute force, needing to climb the ramparts and take out archers as well as attacking weak points. If you die on Tower Knight, the run back can be a bit demoralizing, and the lack of actual story or lore behind him brings down his rating just a little bit. Also, the dude has like 4 moves. Personally, I've always had enjoyment when fighting this boss. Bringing him down to do massive damage to his head feels great. I'll be generous, and I'll put Tower Knight at a B+. What do you guys think? Did I rate him fairly? How was your first experience with Tower Knight? Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video where we give a rating to the Armored Spider.